All right, y'all. It's game day Saturday, Tennessee versus Vanderbilt. We've been talking about it all week long. It's a huge rivalry, P. I mean, growing up in the state of Georgia, I never really felt like it was. I never really like hated Vanderbilt. But like with our pops being from Nashville, he really hated them. And he told me, he told you too. He was like, man, I used to hate Vandy just as much as we hate Georgia now. And I was like, I can't even see it. Just because in that rivalry growing up, P, it was a game where, Tennessee wins 49 and nothing. And you like, man, shoot, we didn't score 60.
Mhm.
Everybody gets their highlights, just like huge hits, big time plays, all in Tennessee's favor. It was never really any competition. So I never fully got the hate for Vandy, but you actually had a chance to play in this on the Vandy side. And just for those of y'all that might be wondering, that was back when Derek Dooley was the coach at Tennessee. Growing up a huge Tennessee fan, going up there on visits and stuff. And I'll just say it personally. Derek Dooley is the worst coach in Tennessee history. Listening to them kind of like talking about things is like, bro, they have no idea what they're talking about. But ended up actually working out for UP going to Vandy. But what's some of your thoughts with this rivalry since you got to play in it, and like what's the hate level like for the Commodores?
Man, so when I was at Vandy, obviously, it was kind of weird for me because in my heart, I was still evolved. I was just wearing the black and gold, but I was still evolved. But it was just crazy. Like everybody that whole week, or really the whole season. I mean, the team's full of guys who hate Tennessee. They're just talking trash about Tennessee, hate the color orange. It's just a game that they really get up for, man. Like it's an intense week of practice. Those guys are really amped up. They're playing Rocky Top over the speakers all week in practice. Guys are complaining about how they're so tired of hearing that song and all this stuff. And I mean, these guys are jacked up. Like this is their Super Bowl. And I always look at Vandy as kind of like that little brother to Tennessee. Um, but there's a little bit to that because like I said, this is Vandy's Super Bowl, and a lot of times they've been way less talented than us. Again, this year, same thing, way less talented than us. But they're going to really play hard. Like they're going to almost take it a little too far in some instances. You know what I mean? And I think that's why our dad really hates these guys because they suck so bad, or at least historically, they've been so bad, but they play so hard against us. And you hate to get a guy nicked up or get a guy hurt because a team that's way inferior to you is playing through the whistle and just kind of just is playing dirty and chippy and stuff. And so I think that's kind of why he hates those guys so much. But yeah, this is a big time rivalry. I mean, so when we played them in 2013 in Knoxville, Vandy we ended up winning, but man, freaking Vol fans were giving us I mean, they were giving us the freaking kneeling welcome. You know what I mean? I mean, they hated James Franklin. They were booing him. They were saying obscenities at him and throwing water bottles at him filled with water. They turned the showers off on us after the game after we won. And this was again the same time. It was like December, maybe late November. It was freezing cold that day, and we had to go in there and take cold showers after the game. So, I mean, these are two teams that hate each other at in-state rivalry, whatever, big brother, little brother. So this is going to be an intense game. Vandy playoff hopes on the line. So I expect this one to be must see TV, probably the game of the day. I think.
Yeah, it's crazy that they would cut. It's crazy that they would cut off all the hot water when y'all got to go take the showers, man. You got to take them real quick showers. And P, you actually had a very good game versus, versus those balls. But anyway, man, it's obviously it's totally different than what it was when we were growing up, where it's no real competition. There's no real pressure. There is a lot of pressure. I don't know. People have said maybe more pressure's on Vandy than it is on us, but I feel like with all the fans saying it, man, we can't lose this one. We just went down to the swamp last week and broke a 22-year streak drought, and this is the one that they're saying, hey, we can't lose at home. But Vanderbilt's trying to make it to the college football playoffs, and if they beat us, then they'll have a chance to actually do that. But we're gonna jump into all of our thoughts with it and just break down the matchup for y'all. Please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And P, I want to start it off on their offense versus our defense. All right. So this is like an overview of the matchup breakdown. And this is what everyone, I think most Vol fans are probably worried about, is what is our defense going to do? Can we play a like complete game? We had some people inside of the, on our Patreon. It's kind of like bringing that up. Can we play our first true complete game, which I think last week we kind of did. But either way, talent definitely goes to us. And scheme, I'd give it to Vandy. So for me, P, their scheme is like two different offenses. They got the spread option, and then they've got like a pro style. So with the spread option, you got to be real disciplined. Like you got to stay at home. but it makes their pro style work so well because they can do some simple things, but because you don't want to overplay anything, it just leaves it wide open. So it can be frustrating. Line of scrimmage, I think it's us. Run, I think it's us. Pass, I give the edge to Vandy for the reasons that I just kind of like pointed out. And then turnovers, Vanderbilt does a good job of taking care of the football, but Tennessee also takes it away. But what are your thoughts just like with this brief kind of like overview?
Yeah, man, absolutely love their scheme. I think we touched on it maybe like the first week of the season or something. We were kind of talking about Vandy. And I said, hey, I mean, their offense is pretty much the exact offense I run on the game. I mean, we can do everything out of it. We're going to run an option QB run. We're gonna stretch it vertically. We're gonna run it in some unorthodox ways. So they do a lot that can really confuse you. Like you said, with the pro style elements added into that, it can really put stress on the middle of that defense. And really just all the defense, the edge players as well. The quarterback, not the best athlete, but he's an effective runner. He's a guy that, I mean, somehow he's getting yards. Like this kid can play. So this is going to be a big challenge, man. I really like what they do offensively. But I think that we'll have something for them. So it's going to be a good matchup. It's going to be a chess matchup. We'll see what Tim Banks has dialed up, but I expect us to have a big day defensively.
All right. So moving forward, this is kind of like the more in-depth breakdowns of what we just looked at, the overview, but just want for y'all to see it. As far as blue chip players, Vanderbilt's offense has 4. Tennessee's defense has 27. It's going to be the biggest talent gap by far that we've seen so far this season. And moving on, this is their 2 deep. So red is the offensive line, white's the tight ends, yellow are the quarterbacks, and blue are their skill players. The offensive line, I think, is very solid. They have good sizes. It's more offensive tackle bodies than it was last season when they had a bunch of guys playing. They were more like guards playing at offensive tackle, but they still move them around from left to right mostly. But sometimes I think they move them to different spots. I think that we can, I'm hoping that we can maybe beat their tackle some, but it's not going to be super easy. But I think that that's the place that we can win at. Tight ends, number 9, Stowers, whatever. He's a real NFL player. I think that he's going to can be sort of a problem. And then we already know about Pavia. He's a dog. I think that he should probably win the Heisman. But looking at the blue, all the skill players, it's not like prototype sizes. It's not like NFL prototype sizes, but they got guys that are going to play hard. I think that Jordan Matthews is coaching the wide receivers.
He is, and we know he's a dog. I mean, I'll just real quick, I'll tell you. I mean, people always ask me, say, who's the best player you ever been around? And I always tell them freaking Jordan Matthews, because I saw this guy. His big thing, he's from Alabama, and his big thing, he was a 2-star coming out of high school. He always says 2-star Bama boy. Like, that's his mantra. And I saw this guy work. I mean, you wouldn't believe how hard this guy worked. I'm talking about in practice, we're doing skelly or anything. Anytime he ever caught a pass, literally anytime he sprints to the end zone, whether it's 10 yards, 80 yards, didn't matter. Every single time, come back, do it again. This guy outworked everybody in the room, worked himself up to a second round draft pick. And so I just know that receiving core is going to be dogs. If he's leading that group, I know that they are working hard in any group, probably in the entire country. So just know they ain't going to back down. They're going to show up for 4 quarters.
Yeah, and I can second that, man. He's one of the best college players that I've ever seen play live. I mean, it was some situations, and not to go too far into it, but like I remember we're playing versus somebody, or when you were at Vandy playing versus somebody, and
Ole Miss.
Okay, yeah, Ole Miss, and I think like it was a 3rd and long or something. He makes the catch, gets hit, throws up on the field, comes back for it ended up being like a 4th and whatever, 20 something, triple covered, went up and made the catch. Like it was something like that. I might be kind of off, but. Yeah. He would do stuff like that all the time. Everybody knew that he was getting the football, but he was able to make the plays. So that's why I talked about it earlier in this week, that I know that those wide receivers are going to play very, very hard. It doesn't really matter what their sizes are and all of that. But let's move forward and talk about the just like stats, right? So you can see our defense versus our offense, and the strength of schedule is pretty close, but their offense is winning in most of these categories. Sacks is something that Tennessee kind of like has the edge in. And then also in the running game, Tennessee has the edge there. But like I said, turnovers is a place that I think that we could also find the edge. Well, we can find the edge in all these things because styles make fights. But do you have any thoughts here, Pete?
This is a good offense, man. This offense haven't really been slowing down all year. They've been kind of slowed down in spurts. I know Mizzou had some success against them. Texas had success early in that game. But, I mean, this is an explosive offense. Pavia makes this whole thing go. He operates it well. And so it's going to be a big challenge for us. We need to win the line of scrimmage. That talent gap needs to show up, I think, in the trenches for us to have success slowing these guys down.
Yeah, 100%. All right, so this is the final like overview of their offense. It's just showing you their personnel grouping. So that one tight end set P, they're going to throw a lot out of that. That's mostly what they're in. This is a pass first offense. I know that they've run the football more, but like we said over the course of the week, what they're really doing is like they're calling more passing plays, but they end up running because if things break down, then Pavia will scramble. 12 personnel, they're very balanced in their 12P. It's almost 50% run to 50% pass. I think it's 51% run to 49% pass. That's different because most teams out of 12 personnel are going to be about 60% run. So it puts a lot of stress on you. You see, more like multiple tight end sets, 13 personnel. They do a lot out of that, but mostly going to be run first. Any 20 personnel, mostly run first. They also do 14 personnel. They do a lot of funky things with their personnel, P, where it looks like, hey, this is a run, but they'll have wrinkles that you really got to watch very closely. Start off run blocking, and they'll hold it, and then sneak out late on like a little seam. Some of those tight ends, I could see like a tackle eligible. So that's what I think, just the way that they utilize their personnel, that's going to be a huge challenge for this Tennessee team. Do you have any thoughts here?
Yeah, I mean that is, man. Like I've seen they'll come out, they'll have like 22 personnel, they'll have one receiver, and you think it's run all the way, it's play action, it's something like that. So they will you have to play discipline, read your keys. To your point, those tight ends will delay. So I mean, it's going to be a big challenge for us. I like us staying in our base defense as much as we can in this one, but I think the way you nullify a lot of this stuff is, like I said earlier, you got to win up front and don't give them time to operate back. Because a lot of their plays and play design, some of it's so crazy. It takes time. It works because it gets people going different directions. But if we can just blow it up before it gets started, I think we can really stymie these guys early.
Yeah, no, listen, that's exactly what it is, which is why I think our defensive line, they had to have a really, really good day. Like, we got to be able to get pressure. You got to dial up blitzes, but the blitzes had to get home. Tennessee blitzes, I think we're at number 4 or 5 in the SEC or something, but the blitzes had to start getting home more. And then something else to your point about running more base defense. I know that there's been a talk back and forth about, well, you can't do it because these days you got to run nickel. I totally get that because the field's spread out, but you have to look at your personnel. So if you're running a 4-3, and if you have a guy out there like a Jaden P who could basically play nickel, he's a better athlete than your current nickel players, your star players. It makes more sense to run the 4-3. And a team that runs more 4-3, more base defense than anybody else, I think maybe in the whole country, almost in the whole country, is Oklahoma. They have a lot of people say that they have the best defense in this conference, but they have a guy who is 6'5", 245 or something like that. And he's a linebacker on their roster, but they're using him playing at nickel. So that is the point of what I'm trying to say. Just put your best players out there. It's not just about, going big with the linebackers. If the linebackers can't play in space, then you can't do it. But I think that Jaden can help Tennessee to do some of that. So I'm right there with you, Pete. So talking about their run ratios, only thing here, y'all, is that any of this could be quarterback runs. So they can use called quarterback runs a plethora of different ways. They're really good at counter. And what was the other one? Mostly counter. Like counter, that's the one where that like they're going to be, I think they might be averaging 13 yards per carry or something like that. Oh, I'm sorry. Outside zone. Outside zone, they're averaging like 13, 14 yards per carry, and then counter, they're averaging almost 10 yards. So those are the two that we really have to try to slow down. As far as their route tendencies, a lot of vertical passes. They do a lot of blocking goals, like we talked about. They try to take deep shots. We'll probably see some double passes in this game. Whole lot of trickeration. So it's either going to be like vertical passes or it's going to be underneath like hitches. So, double moves, that's something. Again, got to be disciplined. And then outs, 15% crossing patterns, whole lot of shallow crossers, so drags, not a lot of deep crossers. And then wide screens, they run a lot of different screens, but those wide ones, those are the ones that you really got to watch out for. But Pete, what are your thoughts with all of what I just said there?
Yeah, yes, man. I don't know, man. Like, so I watched a good bit of that Texas film, and I just kept thinking, man, I think cover two should be able to have success against these guys because I think they do a lot of it's either quick stuff to the outside, especially on these short yard situations. They try to pick you off, hit some quick to the outside a lot of times, or they're taking shots down the field. Now the middle of the field could be open, so I think you have to adjust how you play it, so that you are shoring up middle of the field. Like I think those backers, those kind of middle hook players, you got to turn and find the work and freaking shield your guy off. You know, I mean, take away the inside, take away the seam, take that off, and have those corners sitting on those quick hitches or those little quick outs I'd like to throw. I think that could have some success for us. So, you know, we'll see. I think we might be able to get away with playing a lot of cover two. I mean, we'll see. You know, I mean, now he's been accurate. Can he continue to be accurate over the middle of the field if we leave it open? We'll see. But I mean, I would cover two these guys.
Yeah, I think that will work. I mean, you talk about running more base defense, and then also maybe running more cover two. It really goes hand in hand to me. Like if I'm running a 4-3, I love cover two and I love cover three. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
just as far as their weaknesses in what I've seen, man coverage does give them problems just because they're not going to be the most talented bunch. And typically, when you're running a man, you can have that kind of like middle zone with it, which I
Mhm.
love for our linebackers. Just kind of like take them out of man, but let them play over the middle. You can also spot Pavia, which I'm not too concerned about him using his legs when things break down. I know that he will. I just don't think that it's going to be, a super big problem. He gets outside the pocket. He's really looking more to like run first. He's not to get outside the pocket and pass it, and not too much. But either way, yeah, man coverage they've struggled versus that more than anything else. And then you got to mix up looks. You got it because Vanderbilt's going to take off so much time from the clock. They have the slowest tempo in this conference. They'll change up the plays, they'll shift around, motion around, and all that. Just try to see what you're in. So you got to try to trick them because a lot of their passing game is just three-step drop. Like that's the bulk of their passing game. So if you can sit on certain things, that's going to help because you're not really going to be able to get too much pressure off of three-step drops. So stunts. I want to say that Pavia, he's thrown 4 touchdowns. No, I'm sorry, it might be 5 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, and he's been sacked 6 times with stunts. So it's something that their offensive line is not very good at picking up. And then also, I think that we can get some work from their offensive tackle. So, what are your thoughts right there, P?
Yeah, man, I agree with them being not as athletic as we are. So I think man coverage is a good look. I just think we have to be careful when they give us those tight formations where the
Hmm.
receivers are close together. I mean, we should go or banjo, whatever you want to call it. I mean, inside outside that thing, and I think it's going to be there because I mean, I don't think we've really been switching things off this year. And what I mean is, if you got two receivers close to each other, outside defenders taking the first receiver that goes outside, inside defender takes first receiver that goes inside. I think we've just been manning up and locking with our guy. But if we switch that off, it could be a quick and easy pick because I don't think Pop is expecting us to switch it off. So I'm telling you, they're going to try to hit us with some of those those little pick routes, rub routes, all that stuff. It's going to be there early. We got to take that away. But yeah, man, I think that we're just so much more talented than them from a skill perspective as well as up front. Even though they have been playing well, that's why I think the stunts, doing some exotic things, getting a little crazy. You really make these guys have to be athletes, and they're not the best athletes. I think we can win if we get let's get a little bit crazy and have a little bit of fun out there.
Yes, sir. All right, Pete. Now let's switch it over to Tennessee's offense versus the Vanderbilt defense. I got us winning in all these categories pretty much except for turnovers. And I think that it's just that simple, man. Just take care of the football. Let's not throw a bunch of interceptions or, fumble it. And then, all that type of stuff. Like, let's just not be stupid with the football. And I think that the offense is going to be perfectly fine. But what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. We should be able to run right at them. We should. I mean, their DBs can't cover our guys. I mean, I'm watching them versus Texas. I mean, freaking Wingo's catching quick little screens and he's running past 3, 4, 5 guys. This guy's taking bad angles and they're not tackling well in space. I just think we're just so much better, athletically. Like I've been saying this past few weeks, if we lose this game, and particularly if we don't score a lot of points, that's nothing but coaching. I
Yeah.
mean, that's nothing but coaching, or it's like you said, turnovers, things like that. But I mean, we're just so much better than them on paper and just on films everywhere. We should have a lot of success doing whatever we want offensively.
Yeah. I think so too, man. Like I didn't even watch a whole lot of film on their defense just because
Same.
you know what I mean? Like
Same. Yeah.
it didn't take long to say, okay, this is gonna be a problem for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
this is the talent breakdown. Offense has 20 blue chip caliber players and their defense has 9, so it's a lot closer, but it's still a pretty big gap. This is their 2 deep. The red is their front, the white is their linebackers, like their stand-up Mike and Will linebackers, and then blue is their secondary. Now, P, this team runs a lot of man coverage. They run more man coverage than any team in this conference. But if you just like look at the sizes for their defensive tackles, right? Again, this is just the 2 deep. I mean, they've got some big guys there, but it's also some guys that I don't think are going to hold up too well physically. I think that they're a little bit undersized. They got prototype sized linebacker. They got the one guy, Patterson. Patterson, is it Patterson? I'm sorry. No, it's Brian Longwell. I think he's really good. I think that he's an NFL player. And then in the secondary, like you said, I mean, I think that we should be able to win, but at the same time, like they got some good length. This is probably the best secondary that they've had in a long time. So prototype players, obviously Jordan Matthews, the cornerback, Jordan Matthews, he's playing there. He's a backup guy. But do you have any thoughts, just kind of like looking at the numbers from their roster, P?
Yeah, I mean, we should win up front. Now, like I said, these guys are going to play hard and they're going to get after us, and it's going to get chippy up there in the trenches. But I think we'll be able to get good movement and really have our way running the ball on them. And once we do that, it opens up everything else. I think these guys, I think they're coached well in the back end. They play with good technique. They get away with a lot of holds and a lot of cheating. Especially number 3, he's really good at it. I mean, he's a textbook kind of like cheater type guy.
Yeah.
And these guys are chippy. I mean, these guys are chippy. They're going to be chirping, try to get you kind of off your game. But I think our receivers, you look at Staley, Brazel, Matthews, I think they kind of thrive off that type of stuff. Yeah. So I think they'll really get going. And I just think we'll have a big day, man. I just don't think they can hold us for 4 quarters.
Yeah, it's almost kind of like when the Falcons had Julio Jones, Roddy White, and Harry Douglas. Kind of like that.
That's new, yeah.
Yeah, but either way though, let's keep it rolling. Our offense versus their defense, as far as the stats go, and it's about the same as it was for our defense versus our offense, but actually it's not quite as one-sided. But Tennessee should be able to. I mean, they're saying that Vanderbilt's run defense is good, but I think that this is a bad matchup for them. I think that we can run the football pretty much at will, especially because Vandy plays us different than they play other teams, right? We can spread them out, and they're not going to be able to operate well with the lighter box. So I think that running the football wise, Tennessee should be perfectly fine. Passing it wise, like we just talked about, we should be fine. And then just take care of the football. But what are your thoughts here, Pete?
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much said it, man. I think we just start off running the ball right at them. Now, I do expect them to be pretty aggressive, like their safeties. I think they come down quickly into the box. So look for them to try to really show up in the run game. We should be able to get some things over the top if they do that and get some big plays. But yeah, I expect them to come out here and really try to challenge us early and just make us prove that we're that much better than them.
Yeah, I do too. Listen, I think that's an excellent point because their safeties do come down pretty hard, so that could mess with Tennessee's numbers. We'll see what they want to do. But this is what they have done so far over the course of the year. They run a 2-4-5. That's part of their nickel, but they also run like a little bit of 3-3-5 or a 1-4-6. They don't run a whole lot of their base, which is a 3-4. It's just mostly about we've got a bunch of secondary players that we feel like they can play well. But this goes back to the point that we made in like the earlier segment that it doesn't really matter what personnel you play. It's just about what is your personnel, like what's your best personnel. You can get it done any type of a way. It really doesn't matter. But yeah, just going to be like a whole lot of smaller guys out there. So you would think that maybe we could run it at them, but we shall see. Blitzing wise, they blitz at 41%. I think total that's at number 3 in the SEC. Versus the run at 39%, that's number 1. And then versus the pass, I think that they're at number 3. So they will dial up blitzes. That's something else. We just have to be able to pick it up because they bring it from all 3 levels. So they want to use the speed as much as possible, not just in pass coverage, but also in blitzing, like you said. And then as far as their coverages, it's going to be a whole lot of one high types of looks. So cover 3 quarters, cover 0, and then cover 1. So the cover 0 and cover 1 at like 20 something percent, almost like 23%, pretty much just like running man. Yeah, that's more than any team in this conference does it. So we'll see. What are your thoughts here, P?
I just don't think they'll. I mean, heck, I don't imagine them playing that much man against us. I just don't imagine they'll do it. And if they do, I mean, it's gonna be. I think it'll be a long day for them. I think we'll see a lot of probably too high type of looks, and them just trying to just keep that shell over top of the defense and not let us get behind them. But we'll see, man. If they come up and challenge us, we should have a big day.
Yep. I'm hoping that's what they try to do. So even if they go to like a quarters look, we still can get the isolations. They did a whole lot of quarters versus last season, but quarters can turn into man pretty quickly. So we'll see if they have like a check for that this year. All right. So Vanderbilt's weaknesses on defense are just like overall talent, their defensive tackles, quarterbacks who are good athletes, and spread offenses. So Pete, we pretty much have all the makings to be able to I think have a freaking field day. I mean, I don't think Joey Aguilar is the most athletic quarterback, but I don't think that he's going to need to be because I mean, we keep on talking. We should be able to run the football right at him. I feel like for most of the game, if
Mhm.
they try to stop that, then we should be able to throw it down the field. I think at ease. Any closing thoughts?
Nah, I think you covered it, man. We should have a big day.
Yes, sir. Okay, so let's jump into some picks here, P. Just real quick. So we're doing this on Friday. Ole Miss versus Mississippi State. P. Just give me a who you got winning.
I got I got Mississippi State with the upset.
Okay. Wow. So obviously Lane Kiffin, he's going to come out and say what he's doing. Is he going to stay? Is he going to leave? I feel like he's probably going to leave, but that could mess with the team some. So I could see it happening, but I'm still going to be picking Ole Miss to win this game, even though it's in Starkville. Utah versus Kansas. No real thoughts there. Georgia versus Georgia Tech. The game is going to be in Atlanta, Georgia, and Tech is one of those teams too. P. Just like you said with y'all at Vandy, just you're listening to Rocky Top all probably summer long and for the whole week. Well, shoot, the last time that I was at Tech, like a couple summers ago or last summer, that's what they were doing. Like you could hear it throughout the whole campus. They playing that nursery rhyme, Athens, Georgia, whatever, UGA fight song, and they was out there grinding. Who do you think is going to end up winning this one?
Now, I definitely expect Georgia to come out here and play inspired just because of how the game went last year and a game they should have lost, and everybody knows it. But you know what? I got Tech, man. Tech didn't look great last week against Pitt. They struggled. I expect them to have a pissed off week of practice. Brent Key can't stand Kirby Smart, can't stand those daggum dogs, and you're gonna have it dialed up. Haynes King have another big day, and I got Tech, putting it to these guys, a Georgia team that should be probably, you look at it, they're probably 4 or 5 players away from being a 4 or 5 loss team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, seriously. I mean, this is a bad Georgia team. I continue to say it until they prove otherwise. I got Tech find a way to get this one done in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yep, I do too. All right, so moving on. Texas A&M versus Texas. Just kind of like real quick, P. What are you thinking? The game is in Austin. If Texas wins this game, it'll mess with Tennessee's like bowl implications. We might end up going to some bad bowl, but I'm trying to go to the Citrus Bowl. So we would need for Texas to lose. But who do you think is going to win?
I'm going to A&M here. I think they're the better team.
Okay. So Arizona State, not going to waste time there. Michigan versus Ohio State. What are you thinking here, P? The game is in Ann Arbor, and the Buckeyes just can't seem to find a way to be able to beat, Michigan on a consistent basis anymore.
Yeah. Well, my father-in-law, he's from Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
My wife's from Michigan, so they're huge Michigan fans. We're over there yesterday for Thanksgiving, and I mean, they seem really confident. They just say that they're much more physical than Ohio State, and they feel like they can run the ball right at them. They think Ohio State's gonna have a hard time running the ball against them. I think Jeremiah Smith is, I think he's a little dinged up. I think they got another receiver that's dinged up. They just feel really confident in this one, and they kind of convinced me. I think Michigan finds a way to get it done for a 5th year in a row. I think they upset the Buckeyes.
Yeah, I do too, man. So we're gonna make this a little bit bigger for y'all. But I'm right there with you. Miami versus Pitt, Texas Tech, West Virginia. I'm not even gonna waste time on that one. But yeah, Miami versus Pitt. This one could be kind of interesting. Just kind of like real quick, P. With the game being at Pitt, who do you think is gonna win? Obviously, there's some implications here for like the college football playoff picture and also for our bowl picture.
Yeah, Pitt. I mean, Narduzzi, I think's the head coach. He's a good coach. He gets his team ready to go for these big games. I think it's gonna be a good game. I think Miami's just so much better of a team, and I think if they win this, they might go to the conference championship. I'm not even sure, but I got Miami find a way to get this one done.
All right, so let's keep it moving. Oregon versus Washington. That's obviously all these are like rivalry games. Most of them are anyway. I'm not really even gonna waste time there, P, because I'm just gonna keep it moving. So LSU versus Oklahoma. What are your thoughts right here with the game played in Norman? And I mean, shoot, if Oklahoma loses, that might push them out of the. I mean, that could have some implications too, because that might get them in the Citrus Bowl. But what are you thinking?
I don't know. I'm probably gonna go. I tend to think Oklahoma's gonna choke, and LSU with the new quarterback, I think maybe they find a way to get it done. So I'm gonna pick LSU in the upset here.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, I think that with them having a new quarterback, with a couple of weeks to let the like interim staff get things figured out, I could see it being a problem. Um, yeah, I'm kind of feeling like I want to pull for LSU. So I'm just gonna side with you, and we're gonna skip our game. This is a huge one right here. Obviously, Bama versus Auburn. The game is gonna be played at Auburn, and it doesn't really matter what the records say because Auburn always plays Bama close. So, what are you thinking here?
I'm going Bama on this one.
Okay.
This is a game they got to win to get in, I think. And I just think Auburn, man, I just don't know. I mean, hey, their team, they've fought hard all season, a lot of close losses. They're going to get up for this one. This is to make it to a bowl game for these guys. So, I mean, I think it's going to be a hard fought game. I got Bama. Find a way to get it done, though.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and roll with Alabama too, just because I know that the SEC is gonna cheat for them. They're gonna cheat for all the teams, and really, I probably should have said the same thing about the Oklahoma game because they are gonna cheat. They're gonna try to make sure that these teams win, just to put that pressure on the people choosing the playoff teams. Man, let's try to get in 5 teams. I actually think that the SEC will get in 5 teams, but obviously the one that matters the most to us. Let me move it on up for y'all, man. Tennessee versus Vandy, and right now on a Friday, Tennessee's favored by 2.5. And they're saying that it's going to be like in the 40s at kickoff. But P, what do you got winning this one?
I mean, of course, I got the Vols in this one. I think that it's just too much talent on that roster. And this is a game we pretty much flip roles from last year. Last year was us needing to win to get into the playoffs. I think this year Vanderbilt gets this win. I think they're in the playoffs. I think we're going to play spoiler for them this year. We saw the daggum documentary with Pavia Any Given Saturday, all the trash he was talking. Well, hey, now it's time to cash that check or whatever they say. Rent's due, you know what I mean? Like, I think our guys are taking that personal. We're going to try to put a hurting on them. And, not to try to hurt anybody, but I just think these guys are going to take it personal. And I expect us to come out here and play inspired football. I think we hop out on a big lead on these guys this time. Last year, they hopped out on us. We still can't find a way to come back. I think if Joey can play like it did last week, if we can control the ball, not turn it over, I mean, I think we'll have a big day. I think we'll put up a lot of points. I think our defense will play better, probably than people expect us to play against this offense.
So what's your score?
Score would probably be, I'm gonna go 40. I'm gonna go 44. I'm gonna go 44-24.
Okay. I like that. Yeah, I mean, pretty much everything that you just said, I'm gonna echo that. If defense plays discipline, then we should be perfectly fine. Like, we got to get off the field. Third down is gonna be huge. I'm really not too concerned about the offense. Let's just not do stupid stuff with the play calling. Let's take care of the football. Let's stick to the run, and let's take the shots whenever we need to. And let's not have a bunch of drops and all that. But I just think that spreading the field out with the great wide receivers, Ethan Davis stepping up. I'm not sure if Peyton Lewis is going to go at this point, but I think the Star Thomas really needed to get more burn anyway. So I think that that's kind of in some ways positive for us. But Bishop, Star Thomas, still got more, still got Justin Baker. It's just offensive line should be back fully healthy. I think that we're going to just absolutely put up a ton of points if we want to. But I think that more than anything, we're going to be able to be just like dominant. You know what I'm saying? Like, I see us being very, very dominant. But yeah, defense step up, go and get some sacks, impact Pavia, get some turnovers. I think that our cornerbacks are playing a lot more confident now. Who are they going to try to target? Maybe it's the star player, who knows, but give them some help, the zones, and just mix things up. But I have Tennessee winning this one pretty big, 2P. My score is going to be 45-31. That's where I got it at. So I hope that y'all have a great day. We will be going live for the post-game show. Y'all please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll be seeing y'all then. Go Big Orange. Peace. Thanks for watching, and please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel because that keeps us growing inside of the YouTube algorithm. And if you did like this video, here's another one that you might also enjoy. Thank you. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.